Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Muspa Paramahansa Paribhrajagacharya Sattvaresvara Samadhapri Bhanta Saraswati Goswami Bhagavad Ki Jai Ananta Kodi Vaishnava Ki Jai Ramacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sam Khand Radha Khand Girivardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Guru Dwarka Dham Ki Jai Swami Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the Assemblage. All glories to the Assemblage. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. Our glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, our glories to the assembled Vaishnava devotees, and our glories to speaker for today, His Grace SALIKA Prabhu. We thank you as always for being here. And we may put the verse on the screen and we may begin our Shri Krishna Katha from Srimad Bhagavatam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all so much.
Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritam Narayana Narottamam Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tatu Jayamudiraye Nasta Aparesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of God and Narayana, unto Narayana, Rishi, the supreme human beings, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author of the Srimad Bhagavatam. By regular attendance in classes on the Srimad Bhagavatam, and by rendering of loving devotional service unto the pure devotees of the Lord, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely eradicated. And loving service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is praised by choice poems, transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So today we read from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, chapter 19, text number 31, titled The Killing of the Demon Hiranyaksha. Matreya uvacha evam Hiranyaksham asaya vikramam sasadya itva adi sukha araha jagat malokan swam akandito utsavam sami dita puskara vistara dibi matreya uvacha evam Hiranyaksham asaya vikramam sasadiyita adi sukara jaga malokam. So I can't rito savaham samedita puskara vistara di ibi. Word for word translation. Maitreya uvacha. Sri Maitreya said, evam, thus, Hiranyaksha, asaya vikramam, very powerful. Sa, the Lord. Sadaitwa, after killing. Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Adisukara, the origin of the Boa species. Jagamaha, returned. Lokaham, to his abode. Swam on. Akanditwa, uninterrupted. Utsavam, festival. Samiditam, being praised. Puskara, Vistara, lotus seat by Lord Brahma, whose seat is a lotus. Adevi and the others. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhai Charanarabinda, Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami, Papita Prabhupada Daga Guru Srila Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srimad Treya continued. After thus killing the most formidable demon, Hiranyaksha, the Supreme Lord Ari, the origin of the Boa species, returned to his own abode, where there is always an uninterrupted festival. The Lord was praised by all the demigods, headed by Brahma, purported by His Divine Grace Prabhupada. The Lord is spoken of herewith as the origin of the Boa species. as stated in the Vedanta Sutra 112. The absolute truth is the origin of everything. Therefore, it is to be understood that all 8,400,000 species of bodily forms originate from the Lord, who is always Adi, or the beginning. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna addresses the Lord as Adyam, or the original. Similarly, in the Brahma Samhita, the Lord is addressed as Adi Purusham, the original person. Indeed, in Bhagavad Gita 10:8, the Lord himself declares, Mata Sarva Pravatate, from me, everything proceeds. In this situation, the Lord assumed the shape of a boar to kill the demon Hiranyaksha and pick up the earth from the Garbha ocean. Thus, he became Adi Sukara, the original boar. In the material world, a boar or pig is considered most abominable. But the Adi Sukara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was not treated as an ordinary boar. Even Lord Brahma and the other demigods praise the Lord's form as a boar. This verse confirms the statement in Bhagavad Gita that the Lord appeared as he is from his transcendental abode for the sake of killing the miscreants and saving the devotees. By killing the demon Hiranyaksha, he fulfilled his promise to kill the demons and always protect the demigods, headed by Brahma. The statement that the Lord returned to his abode, to his own abode, indicates that he has his own particular transcendental residence. Since he is full of all energies, he is all-pervasive in spite of his residing in Goloka, Vrindavan. Just as the sun, although situated in a particular place within the universe, is present by its sunshine throughout the universe, although the Lord has his particular abode in which to reside, he is all-pervasive. The impersonalists accept one aspect of the Lord's features, the all-pervasive aspect, but they cannot understand his localized situation in his transcendental abode, where he is always engages in fully transcendental pastimes. Especially mentioned in this verse is the word akanditos savan, which savan means pleasure. Whenever some function takes place to express happiness, it is called utsava. Utsava, the expression of complete happiness, is always present in the Vaikuntha locus, the abode of the Lord, who is worshipable even by the demigods like Brahma, to say nothing of other less important entities, such as human beings. The Lord descends from his abode to this world, and therefore he is called Avatara, which means one who descends. Sometimes Avatara is understood to refer to an incarnation who assumes a material form of flesh and bone. But actually, Avatara refers to one who descends from higher regions. The Lord's abode is situated far above this material sky, and he descends from that higher position. Thus, he is called Avatara. Umagyanam timirandasya gyanam shalakaya chaksho militam jena tasmai shri gurave namah Sri Chaitanya manubhishtam stapitam jena bhutale swayam rupa kadam mayam dadati swam padantikam vandeham Sri Yutam pada kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Saagiram Sadhutam Savadutam Parijanam Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padasagana Lalita Sri Vishakavitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapati Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Shruti Devi Pranamami Haripriye Mukhaṁ Karoti Vachalam Pangam Lagayate Girim Yakripatam Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Vanchakarpa Taru Vyascha Kripa Sandhyas Ivascha Patitanam Pavajnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadi Satarine Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Tita Swami Iti Namine Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupadaya Asistatmane Sri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhakti Tite Namine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhattavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. Sri Maitreya continued. After thus killing the most formidable demon, Hiranyaksha, the Supreme Lord Hari, the origin of the boa species, returned to his own abode, where there is always an uninterrupted festival. The Lord was praised by all the demigods, headed by Brahma. Hare Krishna. So thank you all of the devotees for being on this Sangha today, the 14th day of the month of May, the year 2026. To this moment of glorious hearing and talking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which the Vaishnava Acharyas has described as the most glorious activities of the soul in this human form of life. So we continue from reading from third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, 19th chapter, text number 31. The subtitle of the chapter is The Killing of the demon Hiranyaksha. And this is describing the continuation of conversation between Maitreya Muni, Vidura, narrating the pastimes of the Lord and his departure to his abode in the form of Adisukara, the original Boa. So in this verse, Lila of the Lord descending, fighting very vigorously the demon, and eventually liberating the demon Hiranyaksha. And what happened after is what is being described from this section of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada uses the opportunity of this, although it's a simple sentence describing the departure of the Lord from the arena of the Leela of fighting in his form as Boa with Hiranyaksha, the demon. Srila Prabhupada uses, just as it is the tradition of the Acharyas. The Acharyas are very expert. In any shloka, in any scriptural text that is read, that is spoken, that is sung, the Acharyas have a very unique expert way of always presenting three themes: the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the position of the living entity or his part and parcels in their unlimited various form, captured here in this text as 8,400,000 species. And thirdly, describing the activities that exist originally in between this supreme, described in this verse as Adi Sukara. So basically, the whole of the scriptures is talking about just three subject matter: the transcendental description of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his part and parcels, and the activities in between the both, which is gloriously described as Bhakti Yoga. And the Acharyas describe that when we talk about Bhakti, it is significantly important because the root word Bhaj, where the word Bhakti is derived from, actually translates to service, which is the eternal relationship between the part and the whole. In the material world, we have so many examples, but the most significant, important relations between the part of the whole is always the part rendering service to the whole. So in the text we're reading today, Prabhupada started by speaking about the personality of Godhead. And Srila Prabhupada nicely quoted, which is one of the favorite verses of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada quoted, Jammadi Asya Yata, which is derived from the Vedanta Sutra. The Vedanta Sutra 112 state that Jammadi Asya Yata, talking about the origin of all that be. And that word translated into English states that Brahma is he, from whom everything emanates. So Srila Prabhupada very intelligently captured this from the beginning of his purport, because this verse is describing Maitreya, describing the Lord's activity. So the Prabhupada take opportunity to talk about the unique nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada talked about the Adisukara, which is a very key word in this text. Basically, there are 4 basic points that Prabhupada focuses on in the text that we're reading today. And when Prabhupada is writing the purports, Prabhupada, when he expertly describes a verse, he will select verse paragraphs to describe his major points. And when we look at the purport of this text, Prabhupada gave 5 paragraph purports. 4 of the purports was describing the key points to be taken from this text. And in the 5th paragraph, Prabhupada summarizes. So in this text, the victory of truth over falsehood, symbolizing the protection of the divine or the devotee, is emphasized. So Srila Prabhupada captures the killing of Hiranyakshas. The Lord Prabhupada took opportunity to speak about the key word, Adisukara, or the original Boa. Prabhupada described the nature of the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the second key word Prabhupada focuses on in the purport, Akandito Savan. Akandito Savan means eternal festival, the activities that exist eternally in the kingdom of God. So when we look at the Prabhupada purport, his first point was describing the position of the Lord as distinct. Although he is appearing in the form of a boa, Prabhupada distinctively described, quoting Jammadi Asya Yata, to describe that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although he is appearing in the form of a boa, is the origin of all origin. And Prabhupada references about 4 different verses from the Vedanta Sutra to the Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Samhita, to describe this originality of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada paraphrase, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavat, Mata Sava Prabhatate Itri Matwa Bhajant Buddha Bhava Samanvita. Prabhupada quoted Bhagavad Gita 10:8. That supporting the Jammadi Adi verse from the Vedanta Sutra. Sometimes, because the Bhagavad Gita is found in the Smriti or in the East stories, Mahabharata especially, those who are less intelligent, who do not understand the conclusion of the Vedas scriptures, see the Bhagavad Gita in the light of its being in what is described as the Smritis, or not being part of the 4 Vedic scriptures. So Srila Prabhupada draws attention to the Bhagavad Gita, referencing Bhagavad Gita 10:8. He also references Jews using the word Adhyayam to describe the Supreme Personality of God in the little part of the chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita. And Srila Prabhupada quoted, which is in the style, paraphrase, Brahma Samhita, the first progenitor or living entity in the Brahma Samhita, where the Lord quoted Brahma Samhita 5:33. Vedeshu Dulabam Adulabam Atma Bhaktau Govindam Adi Purusham Tamahamba Jami. So Srila Prabhupada quoted in that verse the origin of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the origin of all origin. In the purport to the text we're discussing, Srila Prabhupada, referencing Lord Brahma, who is also present at this scene of the Lord departing. Advaitam, Achityam, Anandim, Anantarupam, Adyam Purana, Purusham, Nava Yovanam Cha, Vedeshu Dulabam, Adulabam, Atma Bhaktu, Govindam Adipurusham, Tamaham Bhajami. The Lord described at his matured state of realization by Lord Brahma the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the Adi, or the original person. And so Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing that although the Lord has appeared in the form of a boa, but all the 8,400,000 species of life are not concoction or evolutionary bodies as described in modern scientists, especially the Darwin philosophy, that in the beginning there was no many varieties or species of life. So the Prabhupada uses this purpose to emphasize, to establish the fact that all the forms of the Lord, as the Lord himself has confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, that all the 8,400,000 species of life is emanating originally from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Badal Dev Vidyabhuchan, in commentary on this Vedanta Sutra verse, Jammadi Asya Yata, he explains that the word Adi cannot be used for anything other than the Supreme Personality of God, because the origin of Brahma is that is the Supreme Personality of God. So the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is elaborately explained in the purport of Prabhupada, emphatically defeating the argument of the Lord, of the Mayavadis, who simply relate to the manifestation of the Lord in its all-pervading forms. So Srila Prabhupada stated in the purport that the Mayavadis cannot understand, and the Prabhupada used the word miscreant. So the Prabhupada said that this verse confirmed the statement of the Bhagavad Gita that the Lord appears as he is from his transcendental abode for the sake of killing the miscreants and saving the devotees. Although the Lord in his particular abode reside there, he is all pervasive, and the impersonalists, they accept one aspect of the Lord. And there is a nice analogy to describe this. Sometimes when a nice food is being prepared, one can perceive the aroma of what is being cooked, even when one is not in the particular position or place where it is being cooked. But one can perceive what is being cooked through the smell. So the all-pervasive nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is like that. And Prabhupada uses the example of the sun. Although the sun is situated far, far away, but everyone can perceive the sun through the sunshine. So the Lord manifests himself according to the level of realization of the perceiver. So the impersonalist only can see the upper nature of the Lord, but the devotee of the Lord not only can see the Lord in his localized form as Parama-Atman in the act of every living entity, but they can also realize that the Supreme Personality of God is the original person who resides in his abode, Goloka Vrindavan. And in that place, the activities here is described in this text as Utsavam. A continuous festival of activities. Srila Prabhupada in the purport described that Utsavam means a pleasure. And Prabhupada explained that whenever there is some function that takes place that expresses happiness, it should be known to be Utsavan. But Utsava is the expression of the complete happiness. And this is always present. This is the situation in Vaikuntha Loka. The difference between the Vaikuntha Loka or Goloka Vrindavan is that happiness is not continuous in the material world. In the material world, no one can be happy from the morning to the evening. Sometimes we have very blissful morning. We wake up and we're very happy because circumstances makes us to feel happy. But the next moment, we're sad. But in the abode of the Lord, it is continuous, blissful happiness. A situation that is not checked by any circumstances. But the material world is checked constantly because it is dukkha alayam and it is asaswatam. Like Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, describing the nature of this material world, that this material world is dukkha alayam. It is not only a miserable, but even when it is miserable, sometimes we can say, okay, let us assume that the material world is miserable, but then it is what? Asaswatam. It is temporary. The difference between the material manifestation and the spiritual sky is that there is material world, there is no continuity. Nothing is continuous. Just like the Lord appears here, and Prabhupada reference in the Bhagavad Gita when the Lord appears. Prabhupada paraphrase Bhagavad Gita 4, text number 8. Parityanaya sadhuna vinasaya dushkitam dhamma samstapanataya sambhavami juge juge. Whenever there is a need, the Lord descends as Avatara. He descends. And the purpose is simple, to give pleasure to those who are his devotees and to annihilate the miscreants like Hiranyakshas. In the age of Kali, there are no Hiranyakshas, but there are so many small, tiny Hiranyakshas everywhere. So the Lord has appeared in Kali Yuga, not as the Boa incarnation, but the Lord has appeared Sudanam as the holy name. So when we chant the holy name, Hare Krishna, simultaneously two things happens. And these two things, when they happen, they manifest in the third situation that happens when the holy name is chanted. When the holy name is chanted, the miscreants are dissipated, they are destroyed. So it is said that whenever the holy name is chanted, the inauspiciousness immediately disappears. And automatically auspiciousness manifests. Yesterday, we were talking to one, I call him a seeker. She's a lady Muslim. And I've forgotten about her. Several years, about 3 years ago, through the internet, she got the temple address and she called. And she narrated her experience, how she has gone to Guru Maharaj in Ibadan, in Nigeria. She has gone to so many places. All she was desiring is just to have a baby. She says that, not that she doesn't conceive, but whenever she conceives, once it gets to 60 days, then she's expecting miscarriage. Before the 90th day, no matter what she does, medically, she has tried everything. What naturally happens is that she gets a miscarriage. And she said, please do for me something that will negate this, that will stop this situation. And I looked at her situation. I said, okay. As at that time, she was very fortunate. I have this mantra box. Some of us must have seen this. It's common in India. And we have some of them within our yatra here before that was brought as part of the parishioners, blessed memory, Bali brought. This continuous chanting of the holy name by Srila Prabhupada in a small box. So fortunately, as at that time, I had this box. So I gave one to this lady. She was far away. She was in a neighboring state. So I sent it to her. And she said, but I want to come to it. I said, because you are far, but you are close to Kaduna. Although it's a far place from you, you can go to the temple. And unfortunately, she went to the temple. She didn't meet the temple president. But she saw the deities and she met some small boy and said, but I didn't meet anybody. I said, don't worry. I'm sending something for you. So I sent her the Bhagavad Gita. And I sent her this mantra box that I brought from India. So I sent it to her through courier. And she received it. And all I said was, if your husband will agree with you, that demon that always appears to suck away your pregnancy will be afraid whenever this is playing on. What you need to do is just put it in your room, whether in the sitting room or your bedroom, and let it continuously play. If the light goes off, use the battery, and if the light comes, recharge it. And I forgot about it. But interestingly, just yesterday afternoon, I just got a call from a known number. So I picked. And it took her some time to remind me who she was. And she said, oh, I have tried to call you last year. I tried and tried, but I couldn't get your number. It was saying something from some foreign language, and I couldn't understand. Probably, maybe that was a time I was traveling and in another country. But anyway, she couldn't get me. So yesterday, she decided to call again. And behold, she was talking to me, and she says, do you know what? I said, tell me. She said, do you remember the reason why I called you that time? I said, I can't even remember clearly, but I knew this name now. Miriam. Yes, I think I remember you. And she said, I was looking for a child that time, and now I have a baby girl. She's a year plus now. She's jumping around in the house. And he said, the only thing I did is that mantra. He said, both me and my husband now, even though we didn't have opportunity to meet with you, but we have been chanting. And I said, okay, what do you chant? And she chanted complete mantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He said, this was like a joke when you gave it to me. But my husband, because we both desperately needed some solution, so we kept on playing it. And when you come to my house now, we never, but my challenge is that this box has developed a fault. We try to repair it. We couldn't repair it. So we've decided we have to find you, whether we can get another of that box. So this is the nature of the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When the Lord appears, inauspiciousness disappears and auspiciousness manifests. And when that auspicious manifests, this uninterrupted Utsava that is described in this verse manifests. Goloka Vrindavan manifests in that environment where the Lord appears. And that is the point that Prabhupada is emphasizing in this purport. When we look in the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 3, text number 28, it is explained that all plenary incarnations of the or portions of the Lord incarnation, whether it is in the form of a boa, whether it is in his Swayam Bhagwan form as Shyama Shundra, whether it is in his form as the holy name. Sadly, for we can bring that verse test up. 1:3:28. In any of his form that the Lord appears, the same thing is done. In other words, the Lord is Adisukara. He may appear because all of this form, there is none of them that is material. They are all spiritual. But, thank you. All of the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portion or portions of the plenary portion of the Lord. But Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of God, and all of them appear on planet whenever there is a disturbance created by the atheists. The Lord incarnates to protect the theist. Let's see some part of the purport. So I think the second paragraph, Prabhupada, what I wanted to use, Prabhupada is talking about the avatars, but I think in the next purport, somewhere in the purport, yes, wait, go back to that up a little bit. There's some, yes, yeah, wait. The same powers can supply power to operate large scale. There is some purpose. Maybe scroll up a little bit. There is one point I wanted to. Okay, let's read from here. Originally, the Lord is full of all opulences, all prowess, all faith, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation. When they are partially manifested through the plenary portions or part of the plenary portion, it should be noted that certain manifestation of his different powers are required for those particular functions. So the point I'm trying to pull out from this particular text is that whether the Lord is appearing in his plenary portions or a part of the plenary portions, in whichever the form of the Lord that is manifesting, it does not mean that the electric power, Prabhupada said in that purpose, it does not mean that the electric powerhouse is limited by the small bulbs. The same powerhouse can supply power to operate large-scale industrial dynamos with greater volts. Similarly, the incarnation of the Lord displays limited powers because so much power is needed at that particular time. So the Lord, thank you very much. That's what I wanted to point out. That's exactly what I wanted to read. So the Lord, although he may appear either in the form of a boa or in the form of a fish, or he may appear as Parasuram, or he may appear as Ramachandra, in whatever form the Lord manifests. But in this particular case, the Lord is appearing as the boa. And although he is appearing as the boa, his potency is not in any way reduced or limited, because the same, just like the example Prabhupada used in that purport, the powerhouse carries the same energy, but that same energy can manifest as heat, it can manifest as cold, it can manifest as a small light, it can manifest as a halogen or energy light, but in whatever forms that is required, the Lord manifests himself. And because this same person, this personality described in this purport as Adisukara, the supreme original, is the origin of all origin. There is nothing outside of his manifestation does not diminish. is originality. In the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th chapter, text number 15, the same point is emphasized that Krishna is the original source of all incarnation, and because he's the original source of all incarnations, all his incarnations are not different from each other, but they manifest in different forms. But he is the cause of all causes, and he manifests in these different forms, but his forms are not in the material world. When we see a human being in an adult body, the level of strength that is demonstrated is different. When he's in a baby body, the power or the energy that is manifested is different. But just like the example that is given in the purport that we just read, although the light, the energy may be transmitting in a small bulb in the corner of the room, but that same energy, if it is put into a energy bulb, it will manifest a very big unit of light. So the Lord is the original personality of Godhead, and there is no limitation in any of his form. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is explaining this fact, and Prabhupada uses this to explain that although he appears in the form of a boa, but this is to affirm the fact that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the origin of all forms. Unlike what the material scientists are saying, most oftentimes when we talk about evolution of living entities, the Darwin philosophy is presented by the material scientists, but Darwin, the evolution of different forms is defeated in this form. That is why the word Adisukara is significant. It is making us to understand all of the forms. It is not that the human form was manifested at some point. Then, therefore, sometimes when we describe the creation of the Lord, although the Lord manifests the living entities, Lord Brahma is the first progenitor or the first manifested being. But that does not mean that the different souls are manifest at different times. They are all originally existing. And that is what Lord Krishna also confirms in the Bhagavad Gita, that the living entities are all living entities, irrespective of their species, are my fragmental part and parcel. They all exist originally. And this test is in the purpose. The purpose is bringing this point very strongly, that all forms of that we can see, including the 8,400,000 species of life, all originally exist. They all manifested as at when they are necessarily required in the development of the material creations. And the purpose of the Lord's incarnation is very distinctively described here. So when we look at summarily this text that we're reading, 3rd Canto, chapter 19, text number 31, it is emphasizing the fact that the Lord is the supreme original personality, and the Lord's activities is always glorious. It's Usava, is the original personality of God, and living entities are all his fragmental part and parcel. And in whatever forms the Lord is appearing, the Lord manifests according to the needs of the time. So the Lord could have appeared as Ladu Gopal, or he could have appeared as Krishna, or he could have appeared as Ramachandra. But because the specific need for that particular purpose was requested, because the earth has been submerged by Hiranyaksha down below the earth. And as we know the peak, in our material experience, we know the nature of the peak. So the Lord manifests that form just for the particular needed purpose. And that is the point that is being emphasized here in the narration given by Maitreya Muni. So ultimately, the Lord, as he said in the Bhagavad Gita, Paritanyam Sadhuna, Vinaya Sadhukitam Damasamstapanataya Sambhavami Juge. So the Lord manifests whenever and wherever there is the necessity, and he comes to do the same thing. Take care of the miscreants, protect his devotees, create auspiciousness, And the Lord has not less appeared. In every age, the Lord appeared in his incarnation, and he has appeared in this age, and he has appeared as his holy name in the 11th canto, 5th chapter, text number 32. This incarnation of the Lord is described very succinctly, that in this age the Lord will appear, although it's not Krishna directly, he will appear and he will be chanting the holy name. So when we chant the holy name of the Lord is present every day. The Boa incarnation is before us. It's on our tongue a daily basis. And what the demigods were appreciating, we equally can appreciate that in the holy name of the Lord. If we are able to understand the potency of the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, summarily, the text we're describing today is particularly discussing the power of the holy name of the Lord. In summary, like I said in the beginning, every text of the scriptures basically excuse me, brings about three basic subject matter: the personality of the Supreme Personality of God, the origin of all origins, is part and parcel of the living entities, and the activities, which is service. That is what the Acharyas try to do, and Prabhupada expertly, intelligently expresses that in this purport that we read today. And at the end of it all, we should understand that although the Lord has appeared in the case of Hiranyaksha as the Boa, for the need of Kali Yuga, the Lord has appeared in his form as the holy name. And if we take shelter of the holy name, the experience the earth experiences at that time, we also can experience it in Kali Yuga by this auspicious chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Raman, Hare Hare. And when we take shelter, just like the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma, took shelter of the Boa incarnation, we also experience uninterrupted Utsava, celebration of the Lord's appearance. Hare Krishna. So I'll stop here, and there are questions, comments, contributions. We can take it up from there. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Salika Prabhu, as always. I was actually looking for this verse you quoted from the Bhagavatam. Sorry, Bhagavad Gita 3:9. Because His Grace Samsaduta Prabhu asked a very beautiful question yesterday. And the answer is in that chapter. There is a little bit of the answer in this particular verse also, 3:19:31, discussed today. So Hamsarita Prabhu may later look into these verses with the purpose to get a better understanding of this question. Anyone with questions?
Hare Krishna, please, can you mention it again, please?
You remember yesterday you were asking Krishna that Krishna never leaves his abode, but he appears in this material world, like Lord Brahma, like Lord Ramachandra. You mentioned this Boa incarnation, and yet we say that Krishna never leaves his abode in the spiritual world. So you were confused whether Krishna, Mahavishnu, you said you wanted clarification about the incarnations.
Yes.
And
yes.
I was saying that Srila Prabhupada answers the question from today's text in the purport, and also the Bhagavad Gita verse that Salika Prabhu quoted from, that is chapter 3, text 9.
Oh, okay. 3.
Yes, I said,
3, 9.
if one reads these sources, we may get more understanding as to why and how that happens. That the Supreme Lord is always in his abode, yet he is everywhere at the same time.
Yes. Thank you so much. Please can you accept my respectful obeisances? All glory to Jai Guru Shri Prabhupada, and all glory to you, and all glory to the SALIKA PRABHU. I'm very happy to see you here today.
Hare Krishna.
I'm very sorry for not paying obeisances before. I wanted to capture the chapter so that
I've received it subtly because I know your heart was already paying obeisances.
Thank you so much for the wonderful class.
Thank you.
But I have one question, if I'll
go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the wonderful class, Your Grace. I'm very happy about the explanation you gave about this wonderful woman when she was going through a difficult time, and though she wanted to meet you, but the distance, so you sent this I should say the recording of Shri Prabhupada chanting the Mahamantra, and I'm very, very happy that these mantras help her and the husband, since it is only they are not even devotees, but hearing the holy names can help them. This shows the potency of the holy names. So in this case, for instance, if somebody, because most of the times, before I was following the transformation and all those things, sometimes people will contact me and they'll be saying all sorts of things, but I just tell them that they have to chant, because I try not to involve anybody to go and see somebody and all those things again. So if somebody contacts me and explaining situations, maybe he's having difficult times and maybe he's having some issues, is it recommended to send something like that to the person, so and tell him to play in the house if the person is not a devotee? Is it recommended to do that?
Absolutely. Actually, it is recommended.
Okay.
There is a story of Ramanuja Acharya, I think. One of his disciples met with him and told him he was going to reveal to him the most confidential secrets.
Mm.
And he told him not to give to anyone. And when he gave him the holy name. And the disciple immediately, he went straight to the marketplace and he started chanting. So this he said, everybody, I found the secret to all his problems. And loudly he was telling them, he was pronouncing the mantra to them, irrespective of who they were in the marketplace. So then when his spiritual master heard, he called him to come and he asked him, I told you this is a very sacred mantra and you should chant it alone. And why did you go and start giving to anyone? And he said, dear Guru Dev, you said this mantra has the capacity to deliver everyone, to give everything. It is Chintamani, and it is the most powerful, potent medication, ancient medication for modern persons. So, and I was thinking that everyone in this world needs this solution. So even if I know that by disobeying my spiritual master, I will go to hell. But if by giving this to everybody, all of them go back to kingdom of God, to Vaikuntha planet, only I go to the air, then I'll be satisfied. And the spiritual master embraced him. So yes, the difference between our preaching activity, and that is why you see that in this age, the recommended religious practice is the congregational chanting of the holy name. Every other thing we do is a support for the chanting of the holy name. And in whatever way we can give the holy name to someone, we should give it. And when we give it in faith, and the person who receive it faithfully. It has the potency. Yesterday I was so blissful because I didn't even not just about having a baby that was making me happy, but for the fact that this experience shows how powerful and potent the holy name is. And this is a Muslim, but she was giving testimony that both herself and her husband, the bead they got from that small boy they met in the temple, they chant from that time till now. And she was asking me yesterday, can I give her initiation? She wants to be initiated. And I said, okay, look, slow down. I know you have been chanting, but there are some things to be followed. But yeah. I'll guide you through it. And if you want to be initiated, yes, if you consistently chant for this period of time, and then you consistently, there's a regulated way of chanting. You have been chanting on your beat, but you need to chant at least minimum 16 rounds daily, and follow the 4 regulative principles. I don't know whether you follow that now, but even though you are far away, you can still get initiation. So I encourage her. And she wanted to talk more, but I was also busy. So I told her I was going to call her, and I've not been able to call her since yesterday. I'm going to call her. So, but the point here is this, that it shows the power of the holy name and the difference between the potency of the holy name in our lives and others is the level of faith we have in the holy name. And in Bhagavad Gita 7.3, it is mentioned that one who does, is it that verse, Bhagavad Gita 7.3? Is it step 7.3? Is that verse 7.3? Talking about the 17.3. Is it Bhagavad Gita chapter 17, text number 3? Just let me confirm so that I don't misquote. Sorry. Bhagavad Gita 7.3. No, that I know it's not 7.3.
That talks about the modes.
No, I'm talking about. I think the verse I'm trying to remember, I can't remember exactly. But Lord Krishna was telling Arjuna that talking about faith. I think it's in the chapters. I'm remembering pieces of that verse in my head, but I'll reference it before we leave the class today. But Krishna was talking about faith, that the level of our faith is what determines our experience in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. So it is recommended, back to your question, it is absolutely recommended. In fact, that is what is required, that we should give the holy name to everyone. And whatever means, whatever way we can give the holy name to anyone, we should do it. And if somebody develops faith, just like this particular lady, Miriam, now is calling, now she wants to be initiated. It means that she's got some faith and she's already developing some affinity, some attraction to the Lord. And if she's properly cultivated, even in this very lifetime, she can go back to God. Although she might be a Muslim by faith, but because of her faith in the holy name, because for them to have that level of faith to chant, continuously listening to the holy name from a pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, for the last 2 years, it's not an ordinary thing.
Yes, that's true. Thank you so much. I ask this question because sometimes we feel like maybe if we're giving this something like that out, and maybe it is offense, or if the person don't treat it right, you'll be committing offense. So I'm very happy that you answered this question. It is very easy for me to introduce it to people. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Well, thank you so much, Sadhita Prabhu. There is a question in the chat room, but we will go to that. But before then, I have this remark or maybe comment, and I'm not sure whether it's a question that I would like to address. And most likely I would want our revered speaker, His Grace Salika Prabhu, to also shed some light on it, and if possible, if any devotee wants to. That is, like Amsarita Prabhu was saying, it is very interesting and encouraging that this particular Mataji had Srila Prabhupada's japa box, played the japa, and by Guru Krishna's grace, she had what she was looking for, had a baby. But I have also heard from many gurus, many advanced devotees, and from Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada himself, that Hare Krishna mantra is not meant for anything material. Therefore, if someone is in need of a child, and then we offer Hare Krishna Mahamantra to this needy individual to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that he or she will have a child, that is not actually the true presentation of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. However, if one chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with the mood that he or she is doing that as devotion to the Lord, then if the Lord decides to take care of his or her material needs, that might be done. But the Mahamantra itself is not meant for anything material. And I found some references. I was looking for some references. One is the 10 offenses against the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. I think it's mantra 8, verse 8. It says the holy names of the Lord is not meant for anything materialistic, anything ritualistic. And so about 2 or so years ago, His Holiness Devamrita Maharaj also said the same thing in Giranagri temple room, that yes, as devotees, when we're preaching, we may say that chant this mantra, like if someone has distress or some sort of material concern, we give the Hare Krishna mantra, says chant this, is going to help relieve you of your problem. We oftentimes say that in preaching, but actually that is not what it's meant for. Maharaj said that. So I am thinking that probably this lady was given the japa tape to hear, and once he or she hears, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna will do the needful, but it may not be appropriate to give the Mahamantra to any individual with the hope that do this and your material problems are going to be solved. So if you have something to share in this regard, please, you may do so. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Sadi Prabhu. Very nice question. And I'll respond to this question, a comment on what you've shared together with the name I'm seeing is Elom. I don't know, Prabhu, please forgive me if I do not know your spiritual name, but I see
I think his question is different from my.
Yeah.
So we'll go to his later on.
Yeah, but it's okay. I'm seeing some relativity in it.
Okay.
Because by my understanding, this verse appears to promises that we can conquer the body at the end. And here, this question is said, as a beginner, death still feels scary. How does meditating on Vara specifically help someone overcome the very real physical fear of dying? So that question is very interesting, but it's related to the answer to that. I'll come back to that question, but it's related to the question you're asking. The immaterial world, every living entity is in fear. And the only disease of the living entity is forgetfulness of Krishna. So, and that is why I was trying to quote a verse when I was mentioning that. In those days, I think some of the temples still have this on their signboard. We used to write, solving material, seemingly unsolvable problem with spiritual solutions. All material problems, fear, and whatever material distress or challenges are as a result of forgetfulness of Krishna. So therefore, the Acharyas says that if somehow or the other, in medicine, in material medicine, there are different medicines for malaria, different medicine for cancer, different medicine for different diseases. 9.3, thank you, Siman Vara Acharya Prabhu. 9.3, that's what the verse I was trying to put. I remember it was 3, but I can't remember the chapter. Thank you very much. So in material disease, there are different medications for different diseases. But spiritually, the disease of the living entity is simply one. And that disease is forgetfulness of Krishna. So depending on the preacher, if one gives the holy name for the purpose of solving material problem, then that becomes wrong. And it is based on what you are saying, one will be committing offenses against the holy name, specifically offense number 8. But when the preacher understands that it comes from the understanding that living entities problem, irrespective of whatever they call it, whether it is material distress as a form of not having money or not having a child or whatever it is, if one understands that the living entities problem is as a result of forgetfulness of Krishna and give Krishna in that circumstances for the person as a relief for his distress, then it is not, from my understanding, and it does not relate to the offense number 8, because when the preacher is not giving the holy name to give material solution, but to solve the primary or original disease or original distress of the living entity, because every living entity is suffering, not because it is manifesting in different forms, as lack of childbearing, as poverty-stricken situation, as different things entirely. It might be anything. But if one comes from the background and the basis on which I give this to, when I listen to a new person, and naturally, people will come with so many distressing situations, mention so many things, but it is in my practice, and I do this oftenly to people. When I look at them, when I see that there is no opportunity for me to systematically educate them on the goal of Krishna, of life, then I give the holy name, knowing fully well that the holy name is Chintamani. Not only that, their material distress will be surprised. And then we look at the story of Dhruva Maharaj and the Narad Muni's instruction. Dhruva Maharaj went to the forest because he wants to attain love of Godhead. Dhruva Maharaj went to the forest because he was deeply feeling seriously sad because he was insulted. And he wanted some material gains, material opulence that is greater than the opulence of his father. And when he met Narada Muni, Narada Muni did not tell him that, oh, because you want a kingdom,
So therefore, chant this name so that you can get a kingdom. But Narada Muni know that all these stresses, because the first guru of Dhruva Maharaj is Mother Suniti. Mother Suniti did not tell Dhruva Maharaj that go to the forest to go and get a kingdom that is bigger than your father's. He said, but there is only one person that can solve all whatever problems you have, whether it is kingdom or whatever it is that you need. There is only one person that can give that, and it's Krishna. So, but Dhruva Maharaj is asking, where can I find Krishna? He said, the sages go to the forest to call him. And that's why he left the home. And when he met the Narada Muni with that determination, Narada Muni told him, chant Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya. All he gave him. Narada Muni did not tell him, you will get a child or you will not get a child, or you will get a kingdom or not get a kingdom. He just initiated him into the Maha Mantra. So in this mindset, I give the holy name, understanding that what is that name of the altar?
Mrigari.
Mirigari also, the same thing Narada Muni did. So this is the way of the acharyas. When whatever difficulty or distress anybody might be having, it may be anything, but the holy name. But in relation to what you're saying, if one gives the holy name for the purpose of getting material opulence or material solutions, that becomes an offense to the holy name. But when the holy name is given as the ultimate solution to all distress, then it is not an offense to the holy name. And that was why I couldn't even remember what the problem of the lady was. But I just realized, and I did the same thing today. Somebody came all the way from Akure to Plateau State, where I am. It's almost about 800 kilometers. But the only thing I gave him was the holy name. And I'm very confident. And what was his complaint? This person came to the temple today. He came on Sunday to Jos, and he was called. He came, unfortunately, he came at the time I was resting, and they told him I was resting. So he went back, he called, and he came today. And when he came, and he narrated a story. He has gone to hospital. He doesn't know what is his sickness. And the doctors have been taking his money. He has gone into some tribalist. They have given him so many charms. Somebody has given him, some nutritionist has given something. He has poured and poured and poured. But this, when they will say there is some gas in his stomach, he doesn't know what it is. And I said, okay. Is that all? He said, well, in all of these things that has happened, what I was told is that somebody has used some mystical means to send some spirit to be tormenting me. So that is why they are not finding anything specific when they are treating me. So I told him, I said, what you need is the holy name. Interestingly, this person, when he came for his problems some years back, but some few years back, that was the first time I knew him. When he came that time, I gave him the holy name and Nisima Strota. I said he should play it consistently on his phone. So I told him today, I said, okay, I wish I have mantra box, Japa box here. I will have given it to you. But then, this is only one thing that you can do. So when we give the holy name with the understanding that the living entities is suffering as a result of separation from the Lord, and we give the holy name in that consciousness, then it is not related to the offense number 8. Only when we give it for the purpose, with intention to solve material problems, or think it to be a solution to material problem, then it becomes an offense against the holy name. I don't know whether that answers your question, sorry.
Yes, it does, in the sense that as you were speaking, I still was reading some things from Sri Prabhupada, that they had a Krishna Maha Mantra that we should be very careful, we should be guided that Hare Krishna Mahamantra is not meant for material solutions. The mantra itself is like a helpless child crying to its mother. And in this way, the mother is Srimati Radharani, praying to be engaged in the service of the Lord. So, like I was saying this, I think yesterday, or one of our sangers here, about a dream I had when somebody was asking Gurudev, how does his students care for themselves when they do not work to earn money? So the understanding is that if one is honestly and sincerely serving the Supreme Lord, then the Supreme Lord will take care of such a servant's needs. But like you said, oftentimes we actually are looking for the kingdom of God without God. But the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is helping us to look for God first. And when we're able to attain God, then the kingdom of God becomes automatic, because wherever God is his kingdom. Just that is what Sanjaya said, that wherever there is Arjuna and Krishna, there will always be opulence, there will always be mysticism. So I just wanted to highlight that so that if devotees agree with my understanding, then one should not give out the Hare Krishna Mahamantra as just spiritual solutions to people's material problems without God. Of course, your explanation is something fortunately I understand and I accept 100%. So thank you so much for the explanation.
After Dutta Prabhu, just a little, let me just answer these questions of Prabhu, which he asked here.
Yeah, Elam's question.
Elam Prabhu. So
yes,
actually, your question.
Can we read so devotees may hear what he's saying?
Okay.
So you can read, otherwise I can read.
Okay, you can read also, no problem. Then I'll answer.
All right, so Elam Prabhu is asking a question. So, Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. Per my understanding, this verse appears to promise that we can conquer the body at the end. As a beginner, death still feels scary. How does meditating on Lord Varaha specifically help someone overcome the very real physical fear of dying? Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
So this is his question.
Yeah, thank you very much, Elam Prabhu, for bringing out this aspect of this understanding of Varaha's incarnation. Excuse me. So yes, perfectly, you're right. And this is why you see that sometimes during the cremation ceremony, there is a mantra that is chanted to invoke the presence of Lord Varaha, because Lord Varaha represents, from the understanding, from the Vedic understanding, it represents rescue from death zone, because Bhumi Devi was pushed below the earth, and naturally, when someone died, it's like in the story of Varaha, as we've been reading it, Bhumi Devi was pushed down below Rasatala, the lowest level of below the lowest planetary system. So, and because the Lord come as a rescue to lift up, it is symbolizes as when the living entity is quitting his body, it's like
going down to the lowest level of sometimes called nothingness. So Lord Varadev rescuing Bhumi Devi in the mood of rescue is remembered because he is the one that can rescue. So at that time of death, actually, it is said that at the time of death, if one is fortunate enough to remember the past times of Lord Varadev, lifting Bhumi Devi from that death zone, is the death experience is experience like that, it will be rescued from the repeated ocean of birth and death. And there are so many stories that that is related to this. There, in the Vedic terminology, there is what they call Udarana Shakti, or the power to lift up. So Lord Varadev represents that Udarana Shakti, the potency of the Lord to uplift, to lift up. So it comes for that purpose, to lift up. So when we talk about the Udarana Shakti of the Lord, or the potency of the Lord to lift up from whatever distressing situation, that was why I was talking about his relationship to what question Saadev was saying in relation to the story I told in the course of the lecture, that when a living entity is falling into the distressful situation in whatever form of fear, whether it's as a fear of death, whether it is a fear of poverty, fear of whatever circumstances, if the living entity remembers that Udarana Shakti of the Lord, which Lord Varadev represents, that person is lifted up. So that particular lady in question that we narrated her story, her expression was that she's afraid that anytime she conceives, her same situation is that of fear, that when she's conceived, it's not like she doesn't conceive, but when she conceives, she's constantly in fear that something is going to happen. And what is going to happen? Some spirit is going to come, or some whatever it is going to come to destroy a pregnancy. So she's constantly in the fear. So whatever it is that the living entity is, in fact, it is said that every living entity in this material world is acting out of fear. The only person that is not acting out of fear freely is only the pure devotee of the Lord. Everyone in this material world, it might be the fear of death, it might be the fear of poverty, it might be the threat. One may be confronted with all kinds of situations, but the fact is that everybody is in fear. And to lift the living entity out of fear, Lord Varadev represents Udarana Shakti of the Lord. So the Lord who lifts up his devotee, who lifts those who surrender to him from distress, is Lord Varadev. So particularly, based on your question, particularly talking of Lord Varadev specifically, yes, Lord Varadev is considered to be the Udarana Shakti of the Lord, and it comes with the potency of lifting up the living entity. In that particular story, it is lifting Mother Bhumi Devi from the distress of being pushed down below the earth. So yes, your point is right, that Lord Varadev's incarnation represents rescue or overcoming the fear, specifically of death. Because I mean, if someone is put down below that, it cannot exist, because it's out of its natural situation, and that is what happens to us at the time of death. So if one at the time of death fortunately remembers the past times of Lord Varadev, that person gets liberated automatically because of that remembrance of the Lord, especially as the rescuer, as the lifter from the distressful situation. And of all distresses that living entities can face in the material world, the distress of death is said to be the greatest, because of all kinds of fear. One may be afraid to be impoverished, and it gets impoverished, it can still continue existing. But of all kinds of form of fear, the fear of death is said to be very high. And then when at that time of death, one remembers, then it becomes a path to liberation. And that is why the Brahmanas, during the time of cremation of the soul, when the soul leaves the body, they recite that mantra, Om Narayana. I can't remember that, but I say where they recite that, but mentioning Varadev Namaha, I don't remember, I can't remember that mantra the way they recite it specifically, but there's a part of mantra which is specifically recited to glorify Lord Varadev at the time of cremation, and it is actually because Lord Varadev is the rescuer, is the lifter of one from the most distressing situation of existence. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. I'm Sadhvita Prabhu. Please hear me unmute.
Yes, thank you once again for the opportunity. Yes, thank you so much. We're great for the question you asked, and the answer is this Salika gave. I really agree with you, because sometimes people may think that, like you are saying, they will think that it's some kind of magic or something, because a lot of people have this kind of mentality that maybe Hare Krishna people, we have some kind of magic or something to solve every issue. So, like you said, this, I think I was feeling that if somebody comes and you give him or her, he might think that it's some kind of magic which is going to solve what he or she wants without the faith. So thank you for sharing that. I quite remember I'm in this platform. I think one time we invite His Grace Hare Chakra to come and talk on the platform. And the host, you can see that he's really, really interested in knowing more about Krishna consciousness. And I was explaining something about the senses, and one time we are talking about the expansion of God. And I posted the Narasimha Mahavatar, and nobody watched it, but she watched it and he was discussing it with me. And it was so beautiful that he was interested to watch it again. And this lady, he explained that sometimes he has some anger issues. So I just told her that chant Mahamantra and it will help you to control your anger. So that's something like that I feel like doing, that maybe somebody has some anger issues or have distress or something. I can recommend the person to chant the Mahamantra, but not really like somebody want to have money or something like that, because we devotees, we understand that not everybody has to have money because of our karma. And it's arrangement of Krishna for somebody to become rich, or even the problems we are going through, we believe that we deserve to go through, but Krishna minimize them for us. So thank you so much for asking this question. It will really help me to how to deal with situations like that, not to go overboard. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mr. Prabhu. And to elaborate a little bit on this, I was trying to remember, the mantra I was trying to remember is Om Namo Bhagavate Varadevaya Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Varadevaya Namaha. It is said that when somebody is the body is about to be cremated, if there are brahmanas around, they chant this 108 times, or somebody is about to die or leave his body, and this mantra is chanted 108 times, and person's consciousness can be raised. But to further explain this, actually in discussing Varadev, we have actually discussed something very important. Sahadev, Prabhu, if you can open this canto, third canto, chapter 13, text number 37, there is something there which actually relates to this, why I was quoting this. And Prabhupada, I think in the purport also emphasizes, explaining something about it.
Is it 3:13:37?
Yeah, 3:13:37. it talks about how desires and the Lord Varadeves, chanting of his names and his forms, meditating on his form, helps to fulfill all desires. Yes. Okay, go to the translation. Aha. Moreover, O Lord, the repetition of your appearance is the desire for all kinds of initiation. Your neck is the place for 3 desires, and your tusks are the result of initiation and the end of all desires. Your tongue is the prayer activities of initiation. Your head is the fire without sacrifice as well as the fire of worship. And your living forces are the aggregate of all desires. There's no purpose in that. So if you look at that, this text is describing Lord Varadev and how it relates to the desires that and any forms of desires. But in this context, it is not talking about the holy name is a solution to, or a materialistic, like we read it in the offense number 8, to consider the holy name of the Lord as one of the ritualistic activities offered in the various creative activities of Kamakanda. We are not considering the holy name as one of the ritualistic activities, but we are seeing it as the ultimate solution to all problems. And that is what Srila Shukadev Goswami said in the earlier part of the Bhagavatam, also in the first canto, where he says, Akarma Saba Kamuva, Mukcha Kama Udaradi, Tifrena Bhakti Yojana, Tifrena Bhakti Yojana, Yajitam Purusham Param, that whatever the desire that one has, whether one wants have all desires for all material opulence, or one does not have desire, the position of devotee, or one wants the mystic power, or whatever it is that one wants, one should worship the holy name of the Lord. And by that, chanting the holy, or worshiping the Supreme Personality of God, Yajetam Purusham Param. When one worships the Param Purusha, or the Supreme Personality of God, by calling upon his name, which is what Naramuni does in initiating all, as it is mentioned in this verse we just read in 3:13:37. Because when you initiate someone to the holy name and the person chants the holy name, the Lord will take care of whatever is remaining in the life of that person. In the life of Dhruva Maharaj, when he chanted that name sincerely, at the end of his chanting that name, although he does not want material desire, he doesn't want any kingdom again, but the Lord fulfills that material desire, but at the same time, it becomes a pure devotee. So when we give the holy name of the Lord as a panacea or the solution to all what kind of problem one can have, in understanding that the worship of the holy name is the ultimate worship, then it becomes spiritual engagement in that context, and it helps the living entity.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Shri Govinda Prabhu, please, you may unmute. Govinda Prabhu.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavad pranams. All glory to Gurudev, all glory to Srila Prabhupada. My respectful obeisances to you all. Salika Prabhu, my question is, we're talking about the holy names of the Lord. You know, the holy name of the Lord is actually meant for developing love of God. And that's why it's been emphasis in all scriptures, and more especially in Kali Yuga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to particularly give us these holy names. Yeah, the holy name mitigates all material problems, but it's mainly meant for developing love for Krishna. So we're speaking of Narada Muni and the devotees that he initiated. Don't you think that a great sage like Narada Muni he already gave this devotees love of God before even giving them the mantra. That is my question.
Beautiful question. It is not only Narada Muni, but all in the line of Narada Muni from Lord Brahma. When you study all of the revealed scriptures, all the acharyas in disciple successions give the same thing. When Srila Prabhupada came to the West, Prabhupada didn't speak philosophy. Prabhupada gave only the holy name at Thompson Square. Because they know.
Prabhupada, before you go ahead, I asked the question because there are many devotees that have come and gone. People came with the intentions of gaining something. People come with different desires. And if those desires are not achieved, then they go away. So the holy name of the Lord is there. It had that potency. But each and individual is different. And the Lord deal with his devotees accordingly, based on the person's, level of development from his previous life. And in this lifetime, many souls have to go through so many process before attaining that purity. And each and everyone has a karma to face. And so the holy name is given to everyone, but it doesn't work equally for everyone. And so many devotees have come and gone because they came with material desires. And so they have left. So if we are giving the holy name with a faith that, someone will come and say, I need money. And it's okay, take this mantra and go and chant, you get the money you're looking for. Then what will be the difference between us and those who go for money rituals? So Hare Krishna people, they give mantra, they say, if I chant, I'll make a lot of money. If I chant, I'll get my girlfriend. If I chant, this will happen. And it may or it may not. And also in the last mantra of the offenses against the holy name, to chant the holy names of the Lord and to maintain material attachment is an offense. So if one comes with the attachment for material things, and then he's chanting the holy names of the Lord, the purification is there, but he's also committing offenses. And what he's looking for, he may get it or he may not. And so it's kind of tricky in giving these holy names to people, with a particular intentions. That's why I asked the question.
Thank you very much for elaborating on the purpose of your question. And it helps us to better relate to it. Let me start like this. The living entity is like a field. The holy name of the Lord is considered to be like a seed. The pure devotee of the Lord are like the farmer or the seed givers. And each and every person will respond to the seed, just like every farmland will respond to the seed differently, even when same seed with same equal type of water is supplied. So your point is clear. And I often say this very significantly, that the holy name has worked for me because there has not been light since morning. And I was telling Krishna, please, I was chanting his name and light has come. But let me just be more pragmatic in answering your question. The holy name of the Lord is Chintamani. In the Harinam Chintamani of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And that is why the pure devotees, because they know the potency behind the holy name, in whatever circumstances, in whatever situation, and that is what Sukadev Goswami said in the Akara Sarvaka Nova verse,
they know that the living entities have material. It is an offense when one is given the holy name as a ritual for material success. It becomes an offense. But when the givers are giving, or the farmer is giving in these kind of circumstances, when we talk about the pure devotee, like Narada Muni, like Srila Prabhupada, and every other acharyas, when they are giving the holy name, they are not giving the holy name for the receiver to make money, to make material success. They are giving the holy name because they understand that ultimately the holy name has the potency to purify the consciousness of whoever chants the holy name. And so the purpose behind the giving is very significant. But if someone is giving the holy name for the purpose of cheating, and then we have several stories. The story of the business merchant who had that by chanting the holy name of the Lord at the time of death, he will escape death and then be able to get liberation. In that story, we saw the merchant, because he remembers the story of Ajamila. He had the story of Ajamil. He gave his children Krishna Das, Rama Das, Vishnu Das, Nisima Das, Varaha Das. But Krishna says of the cheaters, I'm the gambler. So the consciousness in which the person received the name is very significant. And when you plant a seed on a fertile land, it will yield a different result. And that is where the verse, Yesham tu anta gata pa pam, genamam punya karmana, te gota vinimukta, bajanti mam, So when one is chanting the holy name of the Lord with the material desires, it will act as a pious activities, because the holy name is the supreme personality of Godhead himself. The Lord and his name are not different. So when the chanter is chanting the holy name for material purpose, the Lord is seeing the act of the chanter. The sincerity and the faith in the act of the chanter is what the Lord is looking at. And that is why in the purport to Bhagavad Gita 10, that Prabhupada said that if one is chanting the holy name, is rendering devotional service, but he is attracted to material desires, is engaging in karma yoga, meaning that that person is engaging in pious activities. It is the same holy name, but it's pious activities. And to the degree it's chance, he will get a result or whatever circumstantial result that is commensurating to his chanting. So the holy name of the Lord in itself is the supreme personality of Godhead, and it's Chintamani. He sees beyond the chanter and is able to deduce the chanters. And if one gives the holy name, and now where the fear comes in is that we're looking at our modern day preachers, some who would want to cheat others and say, go and chant the holy name. And that is why I'm referencing stories like that story of that merchant who wants to imitate Jamil. So if one is giving the holy name with the cheating mentality, Krishna will cheat him. He will cheat the person he's giving to, because they are both cheaters. So Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and no one can cheat Krishna. So, but if one is giving the holy name like Narada Muni, like Srila Prabhupada gives the holy name, because Prabhupada knows that the solution to all of the problems is to chant the holy name. So he gives the holy name in that consciousness. So those who receive it, depending on their level of faith and sincerity in receiving that name, they will get a commensurating result of it. So it does. We need not to be bothered that somebody is going to try to cheat, because Krishna is the gambler of the all cheaters. So if you think that, okay, because the holy name can do all things, so you go and collect money from somebody and say, go and chant the Maha mantra, and then you get money, or you get a daughter, you get a child, you get a position in office, or you get a girlfriend, as you give an example, that person already cheated himself before even he starts in the beginning at all. So the only name cannot be cheated because it's Krishna. And Krishna is the Swayam Bhagavan. Krishna cannot be cheated. No one can cheat Krishna. So the fear that if someone is given the holy name and then someone sees it as a ritualistic activities for material gain, that person who is giving and the person who is receiving in that consciousness, they are both cheaters, and the holy name will cheat, will gamble them, because the holy name is Krishna himself. I don't know.
Thank you for that explanation, Prabhu. That sounds great. Actually, I was listening to one Srila Prabhupada lecture yesterday, and Srila Prabhupada was mentioning it that it is very dangerous for one to hide behind religion and try to make money, try to raise up his economic development. And he said, if you do that, if you take even $1 $1 from anybody without consciousness, without mindset, one will suffer. This is from Srila Prabhupada's own mouth. As he said that in contrast to that is that if you are taking money from people for the service of the Lord, then you can take billions of dollars for the service of Krishna. And that is most accepted. It's most acceptable if you do that. But if you take one city from anybody, hiding behind religion and try to be successful by taking money from people, one will suffer like anything. And so I thank you very much for that explanation. Great. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. His Grace Hare Chakra Prabhu, please you may unmute. Well, I didn't realize we've been here for 2 hours.
Hare Krishna, Dandava Pranam. All glories to Thee, all glories to Prabhupada, and all glories to you, SALIKA Prabhu. My question is in reiteration to Sadev's question that he asked. I know that the offenses against the holy name says that it is an offense to be inattentive and to maintain material attachment, even after understanding so many instructions. So the idea is the person you gave the Maha Mantras to, who said he needed a book, how far has she understood so many instructions on that matter? And you that gave the mantra, with what mentality that you gave the mantra? So personally, I'm thinking that you, the giver of the mantra, the consciousness with which you give the mantra is what is important. But the person who is receiving the mantra, because the person is a beginner, of course, we might have some motives, but your motive of giving is not to just satisfy his or her motive, but to make sure that you sow the seed in the person. So based on that, the question I'm asking is Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, verse 10. When Krishna said that at the beginning of creation, the Lord gave brought forth demigods and humans, and then gave them a sacrifice along with sacrifice for vision. And then he went to be thou happy by this yagya, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving what? Liberation. For living happily and achieving liberation. So my question is, we say that the yagya for this age is the Maha Mantra. So once we deliver the Maha Mantra to people,
don't we also think that apart from the Maha Mantra advancing us on the spiritual path, it is also has the efficacy of dealing with our material situations? Because personally, I understand that when we say your material problem is being solved, it doesn't necessarily mean that the problem will be kept away. But the mantra would develop your way of understanding for you to perfectly be able to absorb all material conditions. So I think I need a little bit explanation as to. Of course, I've also heard what Sadi Prabhu said, that some guru has said that if somebody chants, or if somebody gives the mantra to somebody based on some material thing, that is inappropriate. But in the spiritual warrior 2 of Srila Krishna Part or Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, I've forgotten the exact chapter that says that solving material problems with spiritual techniques.
Okay, thank you very
So,
much.
Yeah.
Sadi Prabhu, can you open Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, second canto, third chapter, text number 10? 2-3-10. I'll read something and I'll explain in relation to this. Because this solves all of the problems that we're thinking about in relations to the holy name and material desires. That is a karma sava karmuva muksha karma. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he is full of material desires, without any material desire or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the supreme whole, the personality of God. Now let's go down to the purport. There's some Prabhupada is talking about the giver, and that's where I wanted to talk about. Go, yes. Continue going on. Prabhupada is talking about a person with a broader mind. Towards the end of the purport, yes. Wait, a pure devotee. I think that is where it is. Go back a little. A pure devotee is satisfaction. Okay, go. Yeah, I think we're almost there. Go forward a little bit. Go up. Prabhupada is talking a person with a broader mind. Go up. It's after this 720 quote. Okay, stop here. We can read the remaining purport later. Therefore, a person with a broader outlook can see that the ultimate authority is the Lord. Even for material benefits, a person with a broader outlook can see that the ultimate authority is the Lord, even for material benefits. So under the circumstances, one with a broader outlook, even with the desire for material enjoyment or for liberation, should take to the worship of the Lord directly. And anyone, whether an akarma or sakama or moksha karma, should worship the Lord with great expedience. This implies that bhakti yoga may be perfectly administered without any mixture of karma or jnana, as the unmixed. But that is where I wanted to actually explain. So the point here is this, that as a devotee, when we talk of a devotee of the Lord is one who has a broader perspective, because he knows that every living entity is suffering as a result of forgetfulness of Krishna. And because he knows that there are real problems. And when you give process of bhakti to somebody, the person will naturally, and this lady's story I narrated, and one of the reasons I was so happy about that sharing yesterday was that when she came, she's not coming to ask for any material things now. She wants to take more seriously, and she's asking, how can she and her husband be initiated? They have been chanting on the beat for some time. They know the mantra of it. Now she comes and says, how can I take initiation? In other words, she's ready to take the next step. So when you have a broader mind, a devotee,
or a preacher of Krishna consciousness is a person with a broader mind. When they come, because bhakti is a very complex process of service to the Supreme Lord. It's not just by faith. Faith is the beginning, but a bhakta knows that beginning is faith, but beyond Shraddha, there is Bhajana Kriya, and beyond Bhajana Kriya, there is what is called Ananta Nivriti. So a bhakta knows this. So when, excuse me, when he's giving the holy name, he's giving it in that consciousness. So when the person, even when the person has a material desires, he knows that that person is having a material desires, but the pure devotee understands that this person is having a material desire because of his illusion. He is thinking that material solutions would give him succor. It's not that he is looking for material opulence, because his desire for material opulence is as a result of the fact is that, just like we read in the verse we did today, he's looking for utsava. He's wanting unlimited, unstoppable pleasure. That is what he's looking for. And that unstoppable, uninterrupted pleasure is Krishna. So in that consciousness, a pure devotee gives the holy name. And when he gives the holy name, he knows that Krishna knows the act of that person. Krishna will do the right thing. Excuse me. So Krishna will intervene, and he leaves it into the hands of Krishna because he has done his part. So a genuine preacher of Krishna consciousness should not be bothered about somebody misunderstanding, because the chanter or the giver of the, or the initiator of the holy name knows that the first step in becoming auspicious, the beginning of all auspiciousness, as Rupa Goswami mentions in the Nectar of Devotion, that when one takes to the process of devotional service, what is that thing that means taking to the process of, when one takes to the process of service, it means it starts chanting the holy name. It is said that, Rupa Goswami said, it is the beginning of all auspiciousness. So when one gives the holy name of this consciousness, irrespective of whatever the person may be asking for wealth, he may be asking for children, he may be asking for political position or whatever, but when the center is giving him, he said, whatever it is that you want, like Sukadev Goswami said in the verse we've read now, whatever you are looking for, first chant the holy name of the Lord. And if you sincerely chant, to the degree you chant that name, Krishna will reciprocate with you. And that is a pure preaching of Krishna consciousness.
Thank you very much. Now you actually, I'm satisfied with the answer you have given, and then another question.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
The other question I was going to ask is, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear
Was
you.
that the samskaras that we perform? We always hear that our seniors tell us that, said if even you are married and you want to have a baby with your wife, chant 15 rounds. Chant 50 rounds. Okay. So whilst you are chanting that 50 rounds, with what mentality are you chanting the 50 rounds?
Very interesting question.
Is it not the mentality of trying to have a good baby? That's why you are chanting that 50 rounds.
Then then the person is actually fooling himself, because the purpose why you are asked to chant is to invoke the presence of the Lord, because the first thing is for the presence of the Lord. So if one chants with the consciousness that I'm invoking the presence of, I want the presence of the Lord, then the result of having the presence of the Lord is that auspicious child, auspicious soul will be attracted.
All right.
But one should not chant in the consciousness that it becomes karma kanda. If one chants that I want a good child, and that is why I'm chanting, it's also karma kanda. It's not bhakti. But bhakti is that when one understands that that chanting of 50 rounds of the holy name is to invoke the presence of the Lord, then it becomes auspicious chanting. It's no longer karma kanda, because in that consciousness, the devotee knows that whatever the Lord does is the ultimate best for him. So even when it gets or it doesn't get, it doesn't bother, because he knows that the Lord needs to be pleased, and his purpose is to please the Lord, because he knows when the Lord becomes pleased, the Lord makes himself manifest. The Lord always manifests himself when he becomes pleased with the devotees. So therefore, a devotee always prayer is that, my dear Lord, please kindly give me the opportunity to serve you. And that is why Prabhupada said the holy name of the Lord is a plea, a prayer by his devotees, asking for the Lord's presence to serve him.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have, thank you so much. We have a last comment or question to take from His Grace, Srimad Acharya Prabhu. Srimad Prabhu, you may unmute.
Jai, Hare Krishna, please accept my obeisances.
Jai.
How close to Srila Prabhupada, how close to the assembly devotees. Well, it's a nice debate going on, and I've been following very nicely both sides. And because both sides are making very good sense, very good points, I'm just following up. But I just felt that I should make some clarification also. First, the offense that Sadi Prabhu was referring to in his question is the sixth offense. The sixth offense is to give mundane interpretation to the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. That is the offense that we're afraid to commit by giving the holy name, saying that the holy name will solve this problem, that problem. That is like giving mundane interpretation, right, to the chanting of the holy name. Now, the eighth offense, which is like equating the Mahamantra to the ritualistic processes that are recommended in the Veda. That is not what is being committed here, because when the devotee does that, he's not thinking that it's like any other ritual. It's giving it as a faith, factor to help the person. So the offense that the acharyas don't want us to comment is not to give a mundane interpretation to the effect of chanting the holy name. So I guess we should understand that first, that the offense that is being mentioned is the sixth offense. Now, as whether we can recommend the holy name as solution or panacea to all problems, well, Lord Chaitanya himself said it. I think we should remember what Lord Chaitanya said in Sistastaka number 2. Nam nama karibahuda nija sarva shaktis. Tatrapita niyamita smaranena kalha. Eta adrisita vakripa babagawama mama happy. Sudisamidam. So we know that verse. What does it mean? Lord Chaitanya said, oh Lord, your holy name alone can do what? Can fulfill all desires.
Can give all benediction to living entities.
He said, your holy name alone can fulfill. That is Lord Chaitanya who said this, not anyone else. So, the holy name, and that is why it's called Mahamantra. I think I remember Prabhupada also explained it in this way by saying that all other mantras, they are like different percentage. But Mahamantra, the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, is the 100%. Everything is inside. He said, if I give you the Mahamantra, then your problem of $20, $50, $90, all is solved when you have the Mahamantra. So those who are saying, like Salika Prabhu has been saying, that it's a panacea to all problems, it's not wrong. But if somebody is trying to give a mundane interpretation to the chanting of the holy name by recommending or saying the chanting of the holy name will help you to win lottery or to do this, that is mundane interpretation. That is mundane interpretation. But it is not said anywhere that the holy name of the Lord is only specifically meant for invoking love of God. No. Lord Chaitanya said, Nam Nama Kari Bahuda, Nija Sarva Shaktis. Your holy name alone can do what?
And render all benedictions.
Render all benedictions. That is what? Render all benedictions to all living entities. That's what he said. All benedictions. So we have to understand the potency of the holy name. And the verse that Bhagavad Gita verse that SALIKA was trying to quote, 9:3, Asradadana Purusha. Those who are not faithful, they cannot attain Krishna. If you're not chanting with faith, no matter what is your goal, those who are not faithful cannot attain the benefit of the holy name of the Lord. So that element of faith must be there. It's the importance. That verse establishes the importance of faith in executing any form of the 9 processes of devotional service. So anyway, I just feel like I have to make these clarifications that there's nothing wrong in chanting the holy name. And last point, if we do not explain this properly, we're going to create another problem. Because we have been criticizing people who are recommending all kinds of things for different problems, saying that different type of people surrender to Krishna, so we have to give them different solutions. But that's not what Krishna says. Krishna says, yeah, 4 different type of people surrender unto me, and the same solution is there for them. You know, chanting the holy name. Satatam Ketayanto Mam. That is what Lord Krishna said. Always meditate on him. That is the solution. So we can, if we start saying that the holy name is not meant for this, then we are actually reducing the potency of the holy name. And I'm not the one saying that. Lord Chaitanya is the one who said that. That the holy name can render all benedictions to all living entities. So anyway, a little contribution. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Srimad Acharya Prabhu, for this contribution. Like they say, it's an icing on the cake of sweet bhakti katha.
Hare Krishna. Well, thank you all devotees. We can delve deeper into this, but we've been here for 2 hours, 15 minutes. So we thank you all. This is the beauty and the nectar of Krishna Katha. Today is Thursday. By Sri Guru Krishna's grace, we pray and hope that we all could be here again tomorrow, so we may continue with this nectar. And with that, we're going to humbly request all the devotees to kindly unmute yourselves, and we all chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express our deepest gratitude and appreciation to His Grace Salika Prabhu. Like we said, each and every time, about 99.999%, you see Salika Prabhu speaking, means that he had to step in for a speaker who couldn't be here for one or the other reason. So we're always thankful and appreciative to His grace. So you may all unmute. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Vancha Kalpa Tarayascha, Patitanam Pavanam Ki Jai.
His co-founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai. Tantra Bhagavatam ki Jai.